analyst Alexei Leonkov told Reuters that the missile was designed to strike surviving enemy command centers, energy grids, and key infrastructure after an initial nuclear exchange. He said that the Russian ICBMs stake out primary defenses, and the Burevestnik missiles would follow and trample the aggressor countries into the Stone Age.
So this missile is really like a small airplane. It has a jet engine on it. And just like a jet engine uses fuel to burn oxygen, this does exactly the same thing, but it uses a nuclear reactor to burn the oxygen and produce the thrust. Well, the system is intended to defeat a missile defense. And so the idea is because it can fly for basically an unlimited range, then it can fly around defenses. On the other hand, you could build more defenses, or you could use aircraft to go intercept them. So I don't think the system is invincible, but it's part of the deepening arms race that we're in, where they've come up with a new system and now we have to come up with something to shoot it down. I think we are just generally seeing a greater emphasis on nuclear weapons. We're seeing countries use nuclear threats more and more to get their way in the world. And so while I think a lot of these programs have existed for years, if not decades, the reason Putin is doing this on live TV while wearing fatigues is because he wants to send a certain message. Well, I hope we'll never have a nuclear war. And if we see it being used, we probably won't be around afterwards to talk about it. But the point of the system is to defeat missile defenses like Golden Dome. So what I guess I would emphasize to people is, don't think about necessarily the day after this gets used, because we won't be here, but we are all going to have to live with the arms race that we're seeing, which is both the United States and Russia investing heavily in new offensive systems and defenses. And this is going to be a constant back and forth that's going to cost, trillions of dollars. Well, we know that the Russians have been up at the test site since the middle of the summer. So they've been at this for a long time, and we've seen a lot of activity that we thought were associated with tests. So it's probably the case that there were tests earlier this summer that didn't work, and that what Russia is announcing now is either finally a successful test, or maybe they're just making it all up and they all failed, but they wanted to say it worked. But this program has been tested for a long time, and there's a lot of evidence that past tests have not been successful. So the United States investigated a very similar system in the 1950s, but decided that it was just too much of an environmental nightmare, and so chose not to build it. So it's true that only Russia has been crazy enough to actually build one of these things, but it doesn't mean that Russia is the only country that could build such a thing. It's just other countries, I think, have thought better of it. The program itself, I think, has been in development for about 10 years. It was several years ago that Putin announced the system had begun testing, and presumably there was a period of development even before that. So this is a program that's been in the works for a long time.